Dear Traverse Bay family, on behalf of the Ad Council, the SPRC, and the staff of Traverse Bay United Methodist Church, I would like to give everyone an update on Traverse Bay's state of worship in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. I know there has been confusion, anger, worry, sadness, deep frustration, and even disagreements on how and where we worship as a congregation. I have heard you that have spoken to me or to the SPRC, and I've felt these emotions myself. When I became a pastor, I never imagined I would be at a church that I would not be able to preach to from the pulpit for almost a year. Please know that I feel your frustration and your disappointment, and I share that burden with all of you. I, too, yearn for the day when we can worship in our sanctuary together again. Let me start by looking at where we, as the state of Michigan, are in this current spike of cases. Nowhere in America has the coronavirus pandemic more out of control than in Michigan, according to a New York Times article from April 10th. As the virus has the opportunity to dance and hop and go wild, it also changes. And one reason for the spike in cases here in Michigan is the prevalence of new virus variants, particularly the B.1.1.7 variant, which is more contagious. Our cases of COVID have increased 59% in the last 14 days. During the same period, deaths have increased 115%, and hospitalizations are up 111%. Children are now making up a higher percentage of new cases than ever before. These numbers are very sobering. Having talked with hospital employees and other medical professionals, I have seen their deep worry, as not only the cases rise, but rise in demographics that have been much less affected before. Young adults, children, those who have no pre-existing conditions. I myself have had the great hope that things would improve enough that we could all worship together indoors at Easter. But cases kept rising, and Easter came, and we still found a way to celebrate the Lord's resurrection. Here are some words of advice and counsel from our bishop, David Bard, in a pastoral letter he wrote concerning the current spike of numbers. He writes, "Let me encourage deep patience among us. We have grown weary of this pandemic. We are increasingly restless. I know some of you have grown impatient with some of the decisions of your church leadership as they seek to make the most careful and caring decisions they can. Be patient. Yes, share your perspective, but if your wishes for in-person and indoor gatherings are not met right away, offer some extra grace." On a personal note, I would like to thank so many of you for the grace that you have shown me and the church leadership up to this point, and the grace that you continue to show us as we work through this. I would like to share with you a brief synopsis of the decisions made of the Ad Council, which is the committee that, in conjunction with the pastor, makes the determination of when and how we worship together. In October of last year, as we were preparing to open in November, we decided it would be necessary to know what indicators would tell us it was too dangerous to meet in the sanctuary. Those thresholds would be used to help us to make that call in regards to reopening or even closing again after we opened. They're as follows. 1, Traverse City Public Schools are conducting in-person classes. And number 2, Grand Traverse County must be at a level C or better on the Michigan Safe Start map. You can view that map at www.mistartmap.info. As we have seen, the Traverse City schools have been opened and closed several times, and at this moment, they are still in pause and not open to in-person classes. In regards to the MIA Safe Start Map, this resource has been created by the University of Michigan Hospital and uses resources from each county board of health and the state. They determine safety on a scale of low, then A through high risk E. The factors leading to this determination are test results, new cases, deaths, symptomatic people without a test, cases among healthcare workers, hospitalized patients, and hospital capacity. The Ad Council and I had unanimous support that if the Grand Traverse County was in D or E, the worst two levels, then we would not be open for indoor worship. On October 30th of last fall, Grand Traverse County entered level D, and we have not risen out of it since then. Currently, we are nearing all-time high numbers, higher than when we closed in the spring, higher than on Memorial Day, higher than 4th of July, higher than Labor Day, and higher than Halloween of last year. We are approaching the numbers that were our peak around Thanksgiving and Christmas last year. In light of this all, I share more of our bishop's words. And let me address, once again, the idea that paying attention to solid health advice is allowing fear to triumph over faith. Again, I would say that there's a significant distinction between simple fear and prudent faith. The same Jesus who invited us not to be afraid also encouraged us to be wise. We need not to be dominated by fear, but we do need to be wise, to be prudent. Wisdom asks us to exercise good judgment. Love asks of us to care for each other. I agree wholeheartedly with Bishop Bard. Our goal and duty as Christians is to show love. We are to love each other, and to do so, we must care for each other. Many times, caring comes as a personal sacrifice. We are sacrificing our worship indoors to protect the children and youth and medically compromised that cannot be vaccinated, and the young adults who are still waiting for their turn. We are sacrificing our comfort and having a sore arm and mild symptoms from getting the vaccine to ensure that our community can rebound. We are sacrificing by wearing our masks, which can be tiresome, because we know they protect ourselves and others. Finally, I know this has been hard. I feel it too. Deeply in my soul, I feel it too. But I know that things will get better. I know that we will get back to singing, get back to the sanctuary, and I am hopeful that we will not simply get back to how things were, because we are going to make them even better. I will continue to take time and effort, and most of all, patience. So again, I thank you for the grace you have shown me and continue to show. We are still the church. Blessings and peace be with you.